Okay guys, just wanted to make one last video showing you all of this stuff combined. So how do I use the CRAAP test, what do I think about, and what do I put on note cards? So if you're looking at Canvas, a really easy way to find reliable sources is over here if you're in the American Novel course page, and you can do go to a couple of different resources. Gale Virtual Reference Library is very good, but I personally like Student in Context. So click on that, and then you have a virtual library where you can type in anything you want. So I'm researching Blanche Dubois, and I'm going to diagnose her with borderline personality disorder. I know this because I did that basic research before starting this phase, just like you guys have done. And I'm going to look for sources that are reliable and seem good. So we have some reference books and reference dictionaries. That's a really good place to start. I see World of Health right here. That seems like a reliable publisher, World of Health. And Encyclopedia seems good. They'll also show you images. That's useless to me. I'm going to skip that. I don't need any videos. You could look at videos if you wanted to learn about them in video form. That's fine. I'm not going to. There's audio clips, there's magazines, probably not the most reliable source, but it could be interesting. I see Psychology Today, that would be reliable for you. I have news articles. I'm defining borderline personality disorder. News is sometimes okay, but if I read the titles, just like the CRAAP test asks, is it current and is it relevant? Well, yes, it's current. It was written yesterday. Dr. John Gunderson, 76, dies. He defined borderline personality disorder. That's very sad, but that's not what my paper is about, so I'm just going to keep scrolling down. Academic journals, this is going to be very good stuff for you. It's made for academics, it's made for research. So if I click on something, I have a source pulled up over here. This is from the Mental Health Institute, or National Institute of Mental Health, NIM. This is a great resource which you can use, and I see borderline personality disorder. So if I skim through here, I have an overview. Borderline personality disorder is a mental illness marked by an ongoing pattern of varying mood, self-image, and behavior. These symptoms can result in impulsive actions and problems in a relationship. That's definitely Blanche. People with this may experience intense episodes of anger. That's Blanche. Depression, absolutely, and anxiety that can last from hours to days. Signs and symptoms, if I go through here, efforts to avoid real or imagined abandonment. That's true of Blanche. Pattern of intense, unstable relationships with family, distorted and unstable self-image. All of this stuff, if I skim through here, seems really to connect to Blanche. That makes it relevant to me. If I go all the way down, I can see who published this. Your publisher is almost always going to be at the bottom. It's the National Institute of Mental Health. Like I said, that's reliable. U.S. Department of Health and Human Sources, so that is also reliable. If I check what the website is created by, I see a .gov. That also shows me it's reliable. I'm also looking at, can I contact them? Is this a real institution? Well, yes, I can. That's pretty clearly right there. And then let's scroll back up and see if there is an author. I don't see an author, but I bet if I click About Us, I'm going to be able to find out who's writing what, who's editing, staff directories, all of that. So I know this is a reliable source. CRAAP test approved. Now what do I do with the note cards? Well, first I'm going to MLA format a note card or a bibliography card. Feel free to come up to my desk and look at the example card that I've created. It has an author or editor, it has the institution, it has the title of the article as well as the title of the website, and it has a publisher and a year that it was published. Or updated, because a lot of websites, they're updated on a daily or hourly basis. Now, onto my information note cards. Well, I see tons and tons and tons of information here. I will probably write down this overview. Overall, what is borderline personality disorder? I don't know if I'm going to use this in my essay. If I do, it's going to be in the intro because a lot of people might not know what BPD is. So what I do is, I don't know how to put this in my own words, so I'm going to put giant quote marks and just quote word for word exactly what this paragraph says. Feel free, again, to come up to my desk and look at my note cards for this source. Every single note card that comes from this source is going to have a number 1 on the top right-hand corner. Signs and symptoms. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to make a note card for each symptom and the description of it as it applies to Blanche. So I'm definitely going to have a note card that says efforts to avoid real or imagined abandonment, such as rapidly initiating intimate, physical, or emotional relationships. Obviously, that is so Blanche, but I'm probably not going to write cutting off communication with someone in anticipation of being abandoned, because that doesn't apply to Blanche. A pattern of intense and unstable relationships with family, friends, and loved ones. That's definitely her with Stanley, often swinging from extreme closeness and love or extreme dislike to extreme dislike or anger. I am also going to write this, but what I will do is I'll put both of these on a different note card, because in my head I am guessing I'm going to have a full paragraph about her fear of abandonment and loneliness, and in its own separate paragraph about her swinging moods. So that's going to be different paragraphs. I'm talking about 2 different things, so those go on 2 different note cards. Distorted and unstable self-image, that makes perfect sense for Blanche because she's constantly hiding from the light. She doesn't want to be seen. She doesn't want people to see her for who she really is or see her for how old she is. So again, that goes on another note card. Now, self-harming behavior, we don't really see that with Blanche. I can argue the promiscuity, the sleeping with different men is harming, but I think that is better here when she is creating relationships that aren't healthy. I think that's this one. I'm going to skip this. There's going to be no note card for this one. It's not going to be used in my essay. So all you do is you go through your CRAAP approved website and you write down everything that is going to be helpful. Treatments and therapies, I don't need this. Blanche does not seek out help. She gets thrown into an asylum and it does not look good from there. I'm not writing about her treatment and therapy. Now, my color purple people, you might want to talk about her treatment and her personal therapy and her personal growth because your character gets better. Everyone else, none of your characters really get better, so I would ignore the treatments and therapies. I'm not going to waste my time making a note card about this. I don't need to make note cards about test and diagnosis or seeking treatment. Anything like that no longer applies. So what I'm going to look for my second source, this is very much an overview of borderline personality disorder. I'm going to go through my symptoms. I'm going to look at my note cards and ask myself, okay, what do I not understand? What does imagined abandonment mean? And then I'm going to go back to Canvas, back to the students in context, and maybe look at another source that I found, or I might type in imagined abandonment and look for examples of that. There's only one magazine article for that. I might have to change my wording, but that's how you're going to find your next source. What don't you know? And you're basically just going to spiral. It's like a YouTube spiral or the YouTube black hole, but instead you're doing research black hole, where if you don't know what an unstable self-image is, or you don't know what one of these words means, idealization versus de-evaluation, those would be what I spend some time researching and I get my next source from. You need information that not only tells you what are the symptoms of your disorder, but you also need information that explains what the symptoms looks like. So get sources for your disorder, but then get sources for your symptoms. Remember, every new website you look at is going to have a bibliography card and it's going to have information cards. This one, I will probably have 10-15 information cards about this one. But my next source, I might just have 1 or 2. Every source gets a bibliography card, but the amount of information cards you create for each source does not matter. For Tuesday, or ideally due at the end of class today, you will create 10 cards total, including bibliography and including information. I need to see at least 1 bibliography card, and then everything else can be information, or if you've looked at 3 websites, then you can have 3 bibliography cards and 7 information cards. Also, feel free to turn in more. To get note cards, just go into the drawer. I'll actually put them on top of the counter for you. Start with 10 and then come back up if you need more. Ask me if you have any questions, and make sure you look at my examples that I've laid out for you as well. Good luck, guys, and have fun researching, because this can be a really interesting process.